Hey Amy, sorry it's taken a long time to get this video up. Just going through everything like everybody else. So for this week's lesson, we are going to work on a speech. It's actually considered one of the greatest political speeches of all time, though we are not going to work on it all. It's like 12 pages long. I cut it down to 6, but we're not going to worry so much about how much we can get through. For this week, we are going to work on phrasing. Now, phrasing is the way that we speak on something, the nuances, the cadence. Now, we've done a little bit of work like this before with just everyday conversations, and specifically with questions, sentences that end with questions. You know, how we usually raise our voice with some exception, and then with periods we usually lower our voice, like, do you understand? I understand. So now we're going to get a little bit more technical. So this speech is actually from the Greek orator Demosthenes. It was translated from Latin. I remember doing this a long time ago in rhetoric class myself, and I had to translate this. Don't worry about the author's name. We're not going to try to pronounce some of these Greek names. They are very difficult, and that's not something that I would like to work on. We'll get there eventually. But because this is a bit more difficult speech, I would like us to take the time before we get to the speech, and we're going to do tongue twisters. Now, I selected just a few of these, and these are just something that you kind of run through before we would get to our speech. The first one is, which wristwatch are Swiss wristwatches? We should remember these. The second, Fred fed Ted bread, and Ted fed Fred bread, and so on and so forth. And then the one that you really like, a skunk sat on a stump and thunked the skunk, but the stump thunked the skunk stunk. You know, work on these couples. Just go through a couple run throughs before we actually do this. Now, with this speech, I'm not going to run through it all. I'm only going to do a couple of paragraphs, one, maybe two. But what I would like for you to do is really pay attention on how I give this speech. Of course, all these words we know and we are pretty good at. Your ability with English has gotten exponentially better since our first meeting. Sorry. So once again, pay particular attention to my phrasing. And what I mean by phrasing is the modulation of my voice. Which words am I emphasizing? So I'll just do like the first 1, 2, maybe 3 paragraphs, but pay attention to how I speak this. Many speeches are made, men of Athens, at almost every meeting of the assembly, with references to aggression which Philip has been committing ever since he concluded the peace, not only against yourselves, but against all other people. And I am sure that all would agree, however little that they may act on their belief, that our aim in both speech and in action should be to cause him to cease from his insolence and to pay the penalty for it. And yet I see that in fact the treacherous sacrifice of our interests has gone on until what seems an ill-omened saying may, I fear, be really true, that if all who came forward to desire to propose and you desired to carry the measures which would make your own position as pitiful as it could possibly be, it could not. So I believe be made worse than it is now. It may be that there are many reasons for this, that our affairs did not reach their present condition from any one or two causes. But if you examine the matter aright, you will find that the chief responsibility rests with those whose aim is to win your favor, not to propose what is best. Some of them, men of Athens, so long as they can be maintained conditions which brings them reputation and influence, take no thought for the future, and therefore think that you also should take none, while others, by accusing and slandering those who are actively at work, are simply trying to make the city spend its energies in punishing the members of its own bodies. And so leave Philip free to say and do what he likes. So that is the kind of the phrasing that we're going to carry through with all of this speech. How far we get doesn't really matter. We are focusing on phrasing, correct pronunciation of word, particular pauses in between sentences, commas, things like that. That's what we really want to work on. Now, there are some words that I'm not sure we're going to get to, but I'm going to go ahead and pronounce them. These are proper names, names of either individuals or of city-states of Athens, and they're just very weird. So I'll pronounce them for you. If we get to them, great. If not, that's okay. The first one is Pariasis, and I'll put a little link down. The second word is Olynthians. Olynthians. That's another proper name. Then we have Cerium, Doriscus, and I think then we have the cities of Olynthus, Methone, Apollonia, and Thracian. Those are at the bottom of the speech. I don't think we'll get to them. So look over this speech. Rewatch a couple times how I said the first few paragraphs, and I'll see you on Wednesday or Thursday.